Hello, everybody! That should work now. Is that working? Is it working now? Please tell me it's working now. Graggle McWunkus the Clown. Excellent. You know, plugging in a controller does so many weird things to my computer. It's just really, really irritating. How are we all? Everybody excited? Everybody looking forward to the Battle for Oghram preview. The live stream happens at 2 o'clock. So just before that, we're going to do about an hour of preamble. I'm going to do a little bit of work on this. I'm going to be filming it as well. But I will do it with you live, because you guys like it when I film tutorials live. Sounds like a skill issue. Does sound like a skill issue to me. Peter. Sounds like a skill issue. Yeah, no, you plug the controller and it just goes, hey, all your sound is broken. Going out on a limb and wishing for a Tyranid kill team. That would be fun. Currently painting your Leviathan Librarian. Conic, that's an awesome model. One of the best in the box. As always, please do like the stream if you are enjoying the stream, as it helps me and it lets other people know that we're having a good time, and then they come in and they subscribe to the channel, and then I get bigger and it fuels my ego. Realistically. Let's see how GW plans to take money out of our pockets again today. If the Tyranids win, then you can treat your money like biomass, and the new Tyranids will eat it out of your pocket. If you like Tyranids. If you don't like Tyranids, then, If the Space Marines win and we see lots of new Space Marines, that would be awesome. Liam Dempsey sent you here. Liam Dempsey is a hero. Jesse just got a light box from Green Stuff World to take pretty photos for a tale of many Warhipsters. You, sir, are taking it seriously. I love it. I, too, am taking it seriously. Sound back again. should be back. Yes. So I've painted up my Vampire Lord for A Tale of Many Warhipsters. There it is. That's my first submission. And I painted this up for Peter. He's a Patreon subscriber. He asked for a Imperial Fists. Let me just pop my hand behind it. Asked for an Imperial Fists Primaris Champion. And there it is. Looks fantastic. I'm a big fan. My next Tale of Many Warhipsters entry, because I'm breaking my own rules, is this Achilles Dreadnought, who I started last night as well. There we go. Does Valrak know you have one of his lemon boys? No. No, and he never shall. For those of you who are wondering about the big black box down here at the bottom left corner, that's usually where the sub-goal thing is. But it's broken, and I can't get it to work. So I might as well just do that. That's just better, isn't it? It's not this weird nebulous thing hanging over us. Big Bad Peter Gaming, welcome. Thank you very much for becoming a member. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Definitely didn't have a nap and missed a start. Captain Manners, nap away, my friend. It's Saturday. Saturday is the time for napping. It starts in 51 minutes, Apollox. I'm just going to eat my oranges. And then I'm going to do a bit of painting. Who do we think won? Space Marines or Tyranids? Because when I was looking through the box and the rules, I was like, the Space Marines should just flatten the Tyranids every time in this box. Especially if you're like playing on a table where you're perhaps a bit newer to the game and you don't have all the terrain in the world. Space Marines should just absolutely flatten them. First time catching you live, this disproves that you're not an AI painter. Yeah, no, I'm not. Or maybe. Maybe this is a deep fake footage. And I am an AI painter. Maybe. Maybe I'm Henry Cavill. Been researching for a Tzeentch army by watching Warhipster videos, which I think were from Last Tales. Yeah, no, I did a lot of Tzeentch videos for Last Tales. The last Tzeentch video I did was the Curseling. No, actually, it was Magnus the Red. Curseling was cool, though. I really like that model. I've got a bunch of Kyric Acolytes I need to do. The problem with Kyric Acolytes is they come from that time in Games Workshop's design philosophy, where everything is super detailed, even on the basic troops. Which is annoying. Which they seem to have dialed back with Leviathan, because the Infernus Marines are not that detailed. Neither are the Termagants, really. How do you apply paint as evenly as you do without bruising? I'm gentle. For I bruise like a peach. Now, the way I do it is, hang on. 2 more orange segments and then I'll tell you. Iriel. Tyranids won, but Space Marines get revealed. Well, that would be typical, wouldn't it? I think regardless of who won, you're gonna see. Let's say the Tyranids win. You're gonna see all 8 new kits from the Tyranids, but you will also see 2 or 3 Space Marine ones. And if the Space Marines won, you'll see all 8 or 9 new Space Marine kits and 1 or 2 from the Tyranids. I don't think they'll just be like, it's only going to be this, because they'll disappoint people that way, won't they? Hello, Matt. How are you? So how do I apply paint as evenly as I do without bruising? Bruising, coffee staining, and whatnot. Realistically, it comes down to the kind of parts of the brush that you're using. So I'll demonstrate this, and I've got a really good video about this. But when you are painting a miniature with contrast paint, picture that this is one of your kind of typical standard brushes, your medium or your small layer brushes, right? What you've got to consider is that the bigger the brush you use, the more paint that's going to collect in here, which is why I generally use small and medium layer brushes. Why I don't use shade brushes, because shade brushes are designed to pick up lots of paint, and when you pick up lots of paint, you can't control how you're applying it, which is fine when you're doing a shade, because you just want to blob it on and then just move it around, right? So like, it's all good. But when it's contrast paint and it's acting as the base paint for your miniature, so say you're doing a blood angel, right? You want it to be a nice smooth clean red. You don't want it to blob, because contrast paint dries quicker than you would expect, and that's how you get that kind of coffee staining tea line thing when you then disturb it. That's what happens. It's like if you ever use a highlighter pen on a piece of paper, when you go over it, you've got a window of maybe half a second to go like this with a highlighter pen and it not have the lines or the duplication, whereas a contrast paint's the same thing, right? So you go like this, and if you leave it for like 5-10 seconds and then go over it again, you get this kind of 2-layer thing happening like that, if you imagine, but it's like duplicating the color. That's how you get the darkness. So the reason I'm telling you all of this is what you basically want to do is, when you are using your brush, and I'll show you what the perfect amount of contrast paint to have on your brush is. So this is Flesh Tearer's Red, right? If I come in here and I load it, see how it starts to form a drip towards the end? That is way too much paint. Yeah? And you can't see that happen so much on a shade brush because it's meant to do that. So that right there, that's too much paint. So what you want, I usually just, that's still a little too much. There we go. So what you want is, you want your brush to be wet and full of paint, but not forming a drip, because then when you apply it, you should be able to just glide across the surface using the tip like a fountain pen. So there you go. See that? So that's a nice smooth red coat. Whereas if you go for a big blob with the drip and everything, and you just go straight in, there you go. And even if you try and move this around, it takes you much longer, especially when you're looking at like small components. So that I'm having to spread it over a much greater surface area just to get it to even look similar to that previous one. Using the same technique of keeping it towards the tip. Because there's too much paint for the area that I actually wanted. See? And that's still streaky, whereas this one isn't. So it's all about knowing how much paint you have on your brush, and generally the visual indicator is whether or not a drip is starting to form. And now I have red fingers. Where's my kitchen roll? It's down there. 120 need to lick the like button more. Now facepalm. No, I'll get cancelled for... I just saw a member. Hot Skull. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for becoming a member. That's very, very kind of you. When does it go live? In 42 minutes. Any tips for dry brushing and doing slap chop? I generally don't like it because ultimately I feel like slap chopping does it adds steps before you get painting, and I don't like that because you generally have to like prime it black, then dry brush it heavily with a white, and then another white or something like that, and then you apply the paint, and then you don't do any post work. And I prefer the post work to give it warmth and highlights and things. But ultimately, like if you want to slap chop and dry brush and all that kind of thing, with slap chop, I think some people do it with over grey, like a dark grey, like Mechanica standard grey. But actually, I think if you're going to get the full benefit of slap chop, you need to go for black. And then you go for a really quite heavy circular dry brush all over, so you get a nice smoother dry brush rather than liney and scratchy. With something like Corax White or Ulthuan Grey or whatever. Do you do a lot of conversion? Paramite, no, because I don't like building. I don't like building miniatures. Oh. Man sacrifices his skin for our sins. That's generally what this thumb looks like. I washed it off yesterday. What did I need to do on this guy next? I think it was all the silver. Or all the red. I can't remember. I think it was all the red. Which is just the shoulder up there. We've got 40 minutes yet. Iriel, I just finished using your video to paint my psychophage. Really helps lessen the daunting feeling of taking on larger models. Oh, that's very kind of you, and I'm glad you're happy with your psychophage. Conic, I'm thinking about picking up some new speed paints. What do you think of them? I think the speed paints are pretty good. It is paint by paint bases. Would be what I would say. They've got loads of shades, which is really good. So there's lots of kind of things that are in between contrast paints. So you don't have a lot of like. There's not like a Blood Angels Red substitution. There's one that's between Blood Angels Red and Flesh Terrors Red, which looks a bit like a Blood Angels Red, but it's not quite. So if you've painted a bunch of stuff with like say Mephiston Red, say you've got Blood Angels and you paint a bunch of Mephiston Red stuff. Then it's probably not going to be as color accurate. But yeah, I think, you know, it is what it is. It is, like I said, paint by paint basis. There is still a bit of the reactivation thing, and it is a different way of painting. which you don't, you know, like, my thing with speed paint was that you have to be way more accurate, which kind of defeats the object a little bit of it being speed paint, because you have a tool which does have a longer drying time than contrast, so it can sit on the model for a little bit longer and still be disturbed, and it won't like coffee stain and add bruising. That's a really good word for it. Longer than contrast paint does, but with that comes the potential for reactivation, and you have to sit and just let it dry for 2 hours. And you're not really speeding things up if you have to apply, let's say, do all of the brown on Warriors of Rohan. You're not really speeding things up if you have to do it and then wait 2 hours for it to fully dry. But that said, if the shade is what you want, if the color shade is what you want, then it's the right thing to get. So it's one of those things, right? For me, it's not right, like, because I can't sit and wait 2 hours between each color. And also, it's unrealistic of me to be like, hey guys, we're going to paint this, don't make any mistakes, because otherwise it will take you 2 hours. Yeah, and that's it, Treebeard. Because if you make a mistake, you've then got to... If you want to go quicker, you then got to wait like half an hour, then varnish it, then wait for an hour for that to fully dry, and then paint over it. Or you wait 2 hours and then you risk adding white or grey or something, or wraithbone or whatever, to try and fix it. But it might reactivate, and if it does, then at that point you're going to have to varnish it anyway. And that's the whole thing, is like, with a mistake with contrast, I wait 15 minutes. Maybe sometimes even 10 if it's warm. And then I just go in and put some grey seer or some wraithbone over it, and it's fixed. With speed paint, I feel like I have to wait 2-3 hours, and when you're filming videos at the speed at which I go, if I have something that has 8 contrast paints and I make 8 mistakes, that's like 80 minutes of painting and 16 hours of drying. So 17 hours and 20 minutes to paint one miniature, when it could have been done in 3 hours. The other thing I found is that, because I really like the Vallejo stuff, I think Vallejo are onto a winner. When they expand that range by 20-30 paints, they're onto a winner with that range. Problem is, it's really hard to get hold of. None of my local stores stock it, so I have to get it on the internet. And when you have to get it on the internet, sometimes none of those stores have it in stock, so you end up waiting. Whereas with Games Workshop paint, because everyone and their nan stocks it, you can get it really easy. Army Painter is a little bit more available, so that my local independent does have Army Painter, but they don't have the full range. So if I'm using Zealot Yellow, for example, and they don't have it, I don't have to go on the internet again and purchase it, and then I have to wait like a day or two. So that's another consideration to put in. Caitlin Cota. Morning, hipster. Forgive if I missed it. Just tuned in, but what are you hoping to see in the reveals today? I actually haven't spoken about that. What am I hoping to see? I am hoping to see, if we're going to see Tyranids, I would like to see new Hormagaunts. I would like to see a multi-part Carnifex kit that scales them up to be about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller than the Screamer Killer. And also, like it'd be a kit where you can build Old One Eye, or you can build a number of other different versions of a Carnifex, but a multi-part Carnifex kit I would love to see. I would also really like to see a new big monster kit that also is multi-part. So kind of like, you know, like how Knights and things are. You buy one box and there's a bunch of different options in there. I'd like a Tyranid monster box that's like that. That just kind of merges a sort of newer looking Haruspex, Tyrannifex, Exocrine, and insert new thing here. I'd love to see something like that, because that would be really cool. I don't think we'll get a new Hive Tyrant, because the Hive Tyrant model is fine, and also it's a two-parter with the Swarm Lord, and the Swarm Lord model's excellent. New Gargoyles, I would like to see. Potentially a new Warriors kit with the option to add wings, so that they can accompany the winged Tyranid Prime. That would be really nice. For Space Marines, I would like to see, if Space Marines win, I would like to see jump packs. I'd also like to see an Assault Terminators box. I'd like to see a Terminator Chaplain. I'd like something like Vanguard Veterans, even though they're a bit pants on the tabletop now. I kind of would like a new tracked vehicle. So like a fast, kind of like a Razorback or a Rhino, but those are so classic, I don't ever want them to leave. Captain Mannerings is right there. Army paint or speed paint might work if you have short paint times that you have more of, like if you have kids. Exactly. I think I said that in my comparison video, is that if you have maybe 2 hours of a night, then Army paint or speed paint is really good because it's cheap. You can pick it up and you can apply that one color, and then you can just pack the models away and you have to go back to your busy life. If you're like me, where you paint from now until 4 o'clock in the morning, then it's not great. Which contrast purple would you use for Nid's carapace armor when skin is black? Which color to use for gap in skin? Bombardment! Thank you very much for the 5, Big Bad Peter Gamer. That's very kind of you. Which would I use? I'd be inclined to say Luxion purple, but it is quite bright. You could almost... because black is quite an imposing, solid colour, so you need one to kind of match it. Leviathan purple isn't terrible. It's quite dark, but Leviathan purple would look hot next to black. Be very dark though. You wouldn't be able to apply it really thickly. Shaiish purple I wouldn't do, because it's too cold. Leviathan purple would add some warmth. Or Luxion purple. One of those two. Whichever tone you prefer. Plastic Thunderfire cannon. No, that would be nice. Shaiish purple. See, I like Shaiish purple, but Shaiish purple is a fickle colour. Because it's one of the older contrast paints, so it's always a bit like... what do you think the best paint range you've tried is? As in types of paint? Or like brand of paint? Because I have thoughts. It genuinely surprises me, Captain Mannerings, that there is not a 40k version of Underworlds. It genuinely surprises me. Because the AOS Underworld stuff is always slaps. It always slaps. There is no question of it. And it genuinely surprised me that there's not a 40k version of it. Joe, I think, for me, Minibang, the best brand is Citadel. And the reason why is because Citadel is aimed at being something that there's no... If you haven't already seen it, I'm going to recommend that you guys go and check out the video from the painting phase. One of the most recent ones. They interviewed the man whose name I've forgotten. I will get the name. Tom Hibbard, who was in the product development team. And he talks about the hobby funnel and about what Games Workshop products are intended to do and this, that, and the other, and stuff like the Citadel products. And the paint pots. And the paint pots are designed for people to just get them, shake it, open it, and paint. Which is designed at kind of newer people. Because I don't like dropper bottles. I don't like something that it's my fault that I didn't know how to use it. Do you know what I mean? So, like, the thing with, like... So, for example, like, this. The Vallejo stuff was nice, because there's not a ball bearing in there. But you have to know that you've really got to shake it, because otherwise you end up squirting some medium out the end of it, right? Because you can't really see past the label that it's not, like, it's not fully mixed or whatever. You have to really kind of investigate it. So you have to give it a really good shake, and it's a tough one. Where stuff like with the army paint and stuff, they put a ball bearing in it. So one of the things that you don't realise is if you just try and add your paint like this, which is how I, using a dropper bottle, would do, I would turn it right upside down like this to just squeeze a little bit of it out. You have to actually do it at an angle. You have to do it like this so that the ball bearing doesn't run into the nozzle, because then none of the paint will come out. And then it's my fault that I'm an idiot that I didn't know how to use the paint. Which isn't great for me. It's why, like, I also like Humbrol. You know? Because it's just a little pot that you shake it, pull the lid off, and then you go for it. If you like Citadel so much, then how do you handle how bad their whites are? Well, so this is what I was then going to caveat this with, is as somebody who is a veteran in the hobby, you then move into finding solutions for things, right? Because we always want to buy the right thing first time. But the right thing first time isn't always necessarily easy to do, because you can't know for sure unless you've tried something out, right? So, like, I bought this. This is Vallejo's Model White, and it's nice, but it doesn't... It's like a gel, which is very different. So it kind of has this more kind of stringy nature to it, which I wasn't expecting. And I wanted to try this out and see what it was like. And like the color of it's nice. It's exactly the same as White Scar. But my thing with this is I don't like how it interacts with water. So it has to be done with medium, because like I said, it kind of takes on this kind of gluey consistency rather than other acrylic paints. But the color's perfect. I tried an Army Painter White, that was better. I've not really had a problem with Games Workshop whites. Ceramite White is terrible. Ceramite White is awful. One of the worst paints ever, and I don't think they sell it anymore. Come, let's hit for 400 members. I mean, if you would like to become a member, that would be amazing. Can we hit 400 members by the end of the day? We've had 2 new members so far, and we haven't even done any reveals yet. AK Interactive. AK Interactive. What times are the reveals? They are in 22 minutes time. I want to like AK. But their whole gas chamber thing really quite offended me. Pro Acryl Bold Titanium White covers like a dream. I've heard this. Collects paint more brands more than their armies. They released a thing where it was, hang on. They released this. I don't really want to talk about it on the thing because it's, you know, on the stream. But basically, they released an example of how their weathering paints and stuff worked, and they used a demonstration of a gas chamber to be like, this is how it works. This is what you can create with your things, and it was disgraceful. It was absolutely disgraceful. And I think they apologized. The music cut out just as we were going. Yeah. This was 3 years ago. I'm amazed that people have forgotten this. Or maybe you just didn't know. You're a big fan of Colourforge. I have used their grey, and it's good. Colourforge's spray is good. What it is, I think one of the things that should be pointed out about, and also Neil, thank you very much for becoming a member. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One of the things about Colourforge's sprays is that they are excellent, but one thing to point out is that they're not primers. So you still need to prime your miniature, then go over with the Colourforge spray. Then it will absolutely pop off. They currently sell gas bottles as used by Syrian army mortars, which is its own brand of problematic. Come on, AK, what the hell, man? Andrew, I'm new to the hobby. Hello. No, Laura, it's not anyone's fault. It's the reason why I don't like their stuff is because of that. So one of the things I recently bought, I have not used Coat d'Arms. I think Coat d'Arms were the ones that used to make Games Workshop's paints. But one of the things I bought recently was some of the Too Thin Coats metallics, and I bought some of the Vallejo metallics, and I'm going to do a video where I use them. I've got some Army Painter metallics as well, and I've also got some Instar Paints metallics. I just need to buy the Dark Star ones and do a... See, this is the thing, EJ9. This is just why it's like, I'm not gonna... They don't deserve my money. It's just like, come on, man. Will you paint Black Legion soon? Nassim, I may well, if I get some time. I want it to be Nids today, but we all know they can't let Marines lose. Do you know, they were winning last I checked. Oh look, I found a paint. So I've got the Vallejo game colours as well to do a testing. This does make me laugh, right? Because I ordered a bunch and I thought they would all come in the new bottles, but they didn't. So you get shrinkflation. So there's the old, there's the new ones, and there's the old ones. Have you tried P3 White? It's my personal favourite. No, I've not tried P3. Thoughts on Cruel Boys Monkeys? They're hot, and I want them. This is the thing, though, right? And I've said this before on the stream, and I've said this before in many of my videos. When I do a video, I never want anybody to open a video and see in the paint list something that they feasibly wouldn't have as kind of a new person who maybe has Games Workshop stuff only. So I don't ever want it to be like, we're going to be painting white scars, so today we're going to use Pro Acryl Titanium White, whatever. Because then it's like, oh, I've got to go and find that one. Which is why I try and do everything with Citadel colour. Other brands and stuff is one of those things where I think if I'm going to use them, I would do videos on how to paint miniatures using the other brand. So it would be like, how to paint Blood Angels using Vallejo game colour. So it's very clear that that video is about game colour. So if you've got game colour, you can watch it and go, oh, this is really helpful and really cool. Thank you. Lokir. Off topic, you're going to do a painting vid with Peachy. I'd love to chat with Peachy and do painting videos with Peachy. However, we've never met. Thinking of the funnel. Yeah, that's me. I'm in need of a painter. I may have to try and steal Poor Joe from Liam Dempsey. It's alright, Joe doesn't have very much to do. So, what level of violent atrocity, such as killing anyone, are we allowed to recreate for our gaming pleasure? New to the hobby. I think... I think if it's to do with something that's deeply painful for the real world, not that. Do whatever you like in the far future. You can have guardsmen being thrown into a vat of bioacid. You can have all kinds of hideousness in the 41st millennium, but to accurately recreate something from human history that is deeply painful for many people, I would stay away from it. Good lord, that's quite a Saint 14 Osiris. Thank you very much for becoming a member. That's very, very kind of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 308. Let's go, baby. Oh no, not that many. No, I know, Chris. I just have to answer questions. So we bugged Peachy on his stream to invite you then on it. Yeah. Just be like, Peachy, become best friends with this man. He wants your subscribers and your members. I That was a cool vodka bottle. Oh yeah. Voss. This is not a sponsored stream. We wanted to get a glass bottle that we can have in the fridge filled with cold water, and this was £2. So we bought it. Yeah, I suspect you're probably right. HM Girl Potpourri. Some of them are a little bit too much of a stereotype. There's not to say that they couldn't come back, just being more accurately designed. The other thing as well is back when Games Workshop was young, they didn't do a great job of sculpting facial features to look like different ethnicities. Because it's all the same thing, right? It's all the same faces that they were just kind of sculpting in. Whereas now they do a really good job of it. So like you look at like the Sisters of Battle kit and the Astra Militarum kit, like the faces and stuff are all kind of, they've all got kind of slight differences and things. Like you think of like the old Cadian box, you think of the new Cadian boxes. You've got lots of kind of different cheek structure and bone structure and this, that, and the other. So you can accurately model you know, things that are not just, you know, generic white face but painted a different color, which is really good. Tim Chaser slapping out the 10 gifted Warhipster memberships. Absolute legend. Thank you so much. That is incredibly generous of you. So no sudden loud noises whilst you're painting Canis Rex. Okay, I'll try. As a historical gamer, you have to know your audience. I run a Iraq game, and I had a veteran open up about his experience and say thank you because he couldn't tell his wife the things he told us. Absolutely, right? And so it's like, you know, there's a difference between, like, because this has been talked about recently in the wider hobby community, and I won't go too much into it, but there's been you know, conversations that have happened which aren't necessarily helpful or accurate. So like, if you like historical war games, does not make you somebody who is insert such and such, because you might just, historical war games can include anything, right? It can include anything from history, right from, you know, the Roman times up till recent history, last 20-25 years. Recreating kind of elements of those is part of the passion of the historical wargamer. There's a difference between, you know, there's a difference between certain things, and it's all about kind of, yes, some things are offensive, which is why you shouldn't touch them, and then there are some things that are not, which is why you can touch them. But it's just one of those like, it's like people should just use their heads, and I think by and large a lot of people do, and there is a corner of the community that does not, and nobody is saying that they're allowed. They're not allowed anywhere. But yeah, no, it's like, because like I would really like to do some historical war game stuff, particularly the Napoleonic era. You know, there were some really horrible things that happened then. You know, there were some atrocities committed. And obviously you wouldn't recreate atrocities. You shouldn't do that. But, you know, the reason I want to do some Napoleonic era stuff is because I love Sharp, and Sharp is very inoffensive. Unless you know, really don't like the word bastard. New Doc Prime. Hey, how do you overcome a bad build or paint job? It's just made me not want to carry on. It was a push-fit beast skewer kill bow. One of the things that I do is I, firstly, ask other people if it really is as bad as I think it is. And I do that by having a YouTube channel. So start a YouTube channel. Thank you very much for the 5 new dot. That's very kind. Ultimately, it's the way you have to kind of think about things that you might think are bad is you have to reframe things in your mind. Reframe something as an opportunity to learn. So I've done some terrible build jobs, and I've done some really bad paint jobs in my life, and some of the things I've just had to learn from it is that wasn't correct. That wasn't the right way to do things. And it was a learning opportunity for me, because there's no such thing as a bad job. There's only opportunities to learn. Is how I view it. Right, I need to pull in window. Yes, that. I think that's it. Yeah. Scroll that down. Okay. Oh, hang on. Sorry. There's 14 shillings on the drum for those who volunteered to come. Enlist to fight the foe today, over the hills and far away. O'er the hills and o'er the main, through Flanders, Portugal and Spain. King George commands and we obey, over the hills and far away. Okay. Recess is over. Just setting up the stream. Looks like. Oh, no, not that button. But are we live? Yes. Which of these Space Marine chapters is known to have fought at the last defense of Cadia? The Space Wolves. That was easy. Next one. choose you. Chosen men. Death Eagle sounds like a French metal band. There was the Eagles of Death Metal, wasn't there? Is that what they're called? Star Phantoms, I believe, were involved in the Badab War. Didn't go well for them. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Question 1. Which Space Marine chapter's world was reduced to a barren rock by High Fleet Kraken? Scythes of the Emperor, Silver Skulls, Astral Bearers, or Crimson Shades? I believe that was the Scythes of the Emperor, as they were based on the planet with the Pharos on it, which his name escapes me, and it got eaten. The Pharos, I believe, was the thing that actually signalled the Tyranids. Ben Richardson dropping his 10 bomb all over the desk. Hey Josh, I wanted to say thank you. I've used your Adeptus Custodes tutorial and my army looks amazing. I'm using your Horus Heresy Death Guard tutorial for my Pallid hand and I'm having a blast. Ben, that is very, very kind of you. You are one of the true legends of the Warhipster community. You're always commenting. I love it. I read every single one. Thank you very much for the 10. That's very, very kind of you. And I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. Astral Bears. Or Astral Bearers. The Astral Bears are something completely different to the Astral Bearers. The Astral Bears. Oh man, now I want an army of the Astral Bears. Sotha. That's it. See? I knew it. Size of the Emperor. I was bang on. I know my Space Marines. Do you? Can you? They're not going to get through all the answers at this rate. There's 1 minute to go, guys. In what book did Von Ryan's Leapers make their first appearance? Psychic Awakening, Blood of Baal, Codex Tyranids 3rd edition, Leviathan by Darius Hinks, or Codex Tyranids 5th? I believe it was 3rd edition book. And they're here.
Alex, thanks for joining us. How are you doing today, Eddie? I'm good. I'm excited to see some cool new miniatures.
Ooh, yes.
And to find out who has won the battle for Oghram.
Indeed.
So, for those of you who are tuning in who maybe don't know what happened in the battle for Oghram, this was a global battle event where everybody who got a copy of the Leviathan box was able to send in the results of their first battle played with it, or
I didn't
battle
do
played
that.
with it to us, and then to decide the fate of a planet in the
I meant
Warhammer
to, and I just
universe.
didn't do it.
Either the planet would be saved by the heroic actions of the Space Marines, or it would be devoured by the forces of the Tyranids.
They're
One of
very
the things
quiet.
we'll
I've
find
turned
out
them up.
today is who won that battle.
Indeed.
We'll find that out very soon. And then the other thing we'll see is whichever the victor was, we'll have a look at their cool new models that are on the way later this year.
Yes.
Did you get a battle in, Alex?
I did indeed. I built the entirety of the box. I played against my brother.
Carl of
actually.
RG.
And for me,
No.
what about yourself?
I didn't actually get a chance to play a game with the box. I have been playing quite a lot.
I
of,
have played a
Warhammer
game with the
40,000.
box. Have you guys
but
played
I
a game with your
didn't
Leviathan
play
box?
my
I've played a
much
game
to
with
my-
the
much to
box.
my shame.
But if you had played, who would you have wanted to win?
I mean, I am an impartial observer.
Yeah, of course.
In this, so I couldn't choose a side. They're all
But-
my favourites. But you played another game as well, didn't you?
Yes, and it didn't quite
The,
go.
What happened in your second
The
game?
Space
In the
Marines got
second
munched.
game, my Space
But we
Marines,
weren't playing with the contents of the box. We were playing with
didn't
some of the contents of
Not
the box,
for
but
very
not the
long.
full contents of the box.
But luckily,
Uh,
we used the first result. So the Space
That's
Marines,
all right,
as
that's
far
all
as the competition's concerned, the Space
Fair
Marines
enough.
won. Yeah.
Good.
Eddie's
Well,
Eldar slash
thank you ever so much
Harlequins
for
are
tuning in,
amazing.
guys. I
I
can
don't
see
think
there's
I've ever
absolutely
seen
loads
them.
of you in the chat already, which is really cool. Over 10,000 of you, 12,000. If you played a game at home and you're in the chat, let us know how your game went. We know some people might have just not played a game and reported their thing. That's
Indeed.
okay.
Where's our
We know-
Tyranid
we know-
question? Which
we know
Space
plenty of
Marine
people did
chapter
play their
tastes
game
better?
and sent the results in. So if you played a game, let us know how your game
I
went.
would guess
Lots of Tyranids.
Salamanders
Lot of
look like they
Tyranids
taste
in the
nice.
chat there.
That
Space
green
Marines too,
army.
that's cool. Orcs,
The green
there's orcs in
armour.
there as
It's
well.
very
Like,
appealing.
love your energy. It's great. Great to see. Do let us know where you're tuning in from as well, guys. It's always great to do these previews and see thousands of Warhammer fans tune in from all over the world. That's really, really great. One of the nice things about this battle is that every Leviathan box in the whole world had a code in to join in. So we did genuinely have entries from
Mark,
almost every continent in
thank
the
you
world,
so much for the 10. That is very, very kind of you.
Pretty cool.
Let's just,
So yeah,
should we just
great to see
mute?
that,
Let's just mute Eddie and Alex for the minute. I think Tyranids as a faction, there is some really cool stuff you can combine together to make a really, really strong, potent army. Space Marines, though, it's the same thing. It's just I was terrible. If I upload a picture of a Termagant I just painted to Instagram, could you give me some feedback? Only a few months into this hobby and loving it. Your content is fantastic, by the way. Only Homer. Yeah, if you upload a picture to Instagram, send it to me. Like, send me a link in the messages. And I'll have a look. Crimson Fists are definitely the best tasting because they're the best. I mean, that is a really nice colour. You know, with a little bit of saucy red. I hope it's not underwhelming as some of their other reveals. Christian, you and I are in agreement. Because sometimes it's like, you just wonder why they didn't preview some other things. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you were sitting on that? Why didn't that get previewed? Come on now. I mean, they're sitting on Cities of Sigmar right now. They could be previewing more Cities of Sigmar, but we have to get through this. I want more Cities of Sigmar. Cities of Sigmar. Have I told you that I'm interested in Cities of Sigmar? Is it obvious that I love Cities of Sigmar? Presumably all Space Marines would taste pretty good to eat because, you know, it's like super lean meat, right? It tastes like the best parts of the cow. So it would all be kind of much of a muchness. It's just how it's been tenderized or how it's been prepared in its time. Here's a new lieutenant, and that's the end. It is muted for anybody wondering. Oh, Gene Stealers. Gene Stealers is a great shout. I'd love to have new Gene Stealers. Have they revealed?
Up in my High Fleet Mantis colour scheme, so they're very kind of vivid greens and blues.
No,
and
they
reds.
haven't.
It's a kind of an assault on the senses. So the assault
20
phase starts at
variants
colour
of a
select and everything.
Termagant.
You also painted a Screamer Killer on its own, didn't you? In the
I did. I
the
paint
old school colours.
When I was a kid and looking in like the window of Games Workshop Liverpool, there was a Screamer Killer in.
I'll turn it down so that in case they start talking about something that's very, very important. But I don't miss it.
Grown up and I can buy my own things, so I bought one and I painted it up in the classic colour palette. So yeah, enjoyed it. He doesn't fit anything else in my collection. He doesn't fit in my army. He'd look very silly if I put him on the battlefield.
Oh, I'm
but
very
I now have
thirsty
him in
today.
my cabinet at home.
Oh, I didn't eat my cheese strings.
I remember a friend of the family gave me a couple of Tyranids.
Whilst we wait for the first reveal, shall we give this video a like?
His arms kept coming off.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, do make sure you like the stream. There are 217 of you watching right now. Hello to all new people and old.
Cool, it's amazing.
I mean, that's actually a net game in terms of arms there, which probably is
And young.
most
That
range.
is true.
And middle-aged.
But yeah, both very cool models. Very
Yes,
cool.
indeed.
To ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, hello.
Yeah, a few people let us know they've successfully completed their armies. That's cool. If you have finished painting your
Can we crack
forces,
150
either
likes?
Space Marine, do share
Because
it
then
on social
YouTube will
media,
be like, hey, this guy.
or hashtag
People like
94K.
this guy. People
It's
like
really
his
nice to
streams.
kind of just click on those
We
hashtags
should
and
send
look
more
through what
people over there.
has been up to. Yeah, very cool.
And then they
What's your
subscribe.
next Warhammer 40,000 project, you think, Alex?
And we reach 50,000
I
subscribers.
have some orcs, actually. It's
Nice.
the first time I've painted any orcs.
Plastic Biovore and Pyrovore. Yeah, that would be cool.
And I'm like, I know. It's, you're
That
the
would be
one,
cool.
actually, that inspired
Oh,
me.
that's nice.
So,
I wonder if there's going to be a new big one.
Solid.
maybe about
People are saying there's the Norn Emissary, but I don't know how much faith I put in that.
Squig and the Grots are not only just the best models ever, but also like game winning, genuinely awesome. So that Grot has almost without fail every single game nets me about 3 or 4 points. Just about half the points I score. But you know, that never mind, that's not important.
Hi, Dad.
The thing is that he contributes. He's key. Yeah, he's
Rich,
absolutely
I'm not your father.
So I've got I've been painting some Gene Stealer cults recently. So I've been expanding the army a little
But I'll
bit.
be your
So-
daddy.
So I've already got quite a big army of those. I'm adding some things in. So I've got a Ridge Runner and.
So I have to ask, are they building up hype for another reveal off camera? What are we sitting here watching them for? I don't know.
Eldar. So we're gonna have everything on jet bikes. All in
Just
kind
they're
of
just
glorious
chilling out.
red, flying around because again, basically all of my projects that I do.
I've heard some people say that there might be a plastic dimacaron, however you want to say it. That would be cool. I'd like a plastic harridan. A giant flying bug.
Filling a whole page across an ice battlefield, and it just looked awesome. And you also had
the Doom of Malantai. Oh, I haven't heard that for ages. They're stalling while they desperately find more votes for the Marines. However, there are a few last-minute points to award.
I spend my time on those and make them look real pretty. That's it. At the end of the time, I've got a nice big orc army that I'm happy to play with, and I've got a Gene Stealer army, and they're having a good time at the moment. So I don't need to rush the army. Take my time, make them good.
Us Joshes were everywhere, Lehman Russ.
Cool. All right. How are we doing for time? Oh, we are closing in. I think we've got about 1 minute left before we can get to our first reveal video. If you are
so Eddie's just revealed how these streams work. The first video always goes live at 10 past the hour. So they have 10 minutes of preamble. I mean, to be fair, we've had 60 minutes of preamble, so, you know, we're less efficient.
Somebody asking which cult have you gone for?
There we go.
So I started painting my Gene Stealers when...
It's going to be interesting, this, right? Because if it is just one faction getting revealed, is there just going to be like 5 videos and of 1 miniature each? Or is it going to be like they normally do, where they go, here's the range, and then we're going to talk about that for 35 minutes? Hurriedly base cutting them off screen. Yeah, just quickly popping it through the air.
If I was doing it again, I'd probably do Bladed Cog. Because,
are you serious, or are you just joshing?
Kind of uprising on a,
do you know, like, as somebody whose name is Josh, I have fully leaned into the I'm just joshing you joke many times, and it so very rarely ever gets a laugh, and it breaks my heart every time. I just wish they would just wish people would find me as funny as I find myself.
Right, okay, we can I think thank you ever so much for tuning in, guys. We can now cut
Here it comes.
To our first video, which will announce the winner of the battle for Oghram. So hold on to your seats, guys. We're going to roll film.
As the Grendulous tendril uncoiled across the Formidire system, its ravenous swarms descended upon the hive world of Oghram. The planet's skies darkened with spore storms and billion-strong swarms of winged bio-horrors. And it seemed Oghram was surely doomed. Yet, the Imperial defenders stood firm.
Did they?
For every tide of Tyranids that overran artillery emplacements or boiled through breaches in Imperial fortifications, another was crushed beneath the treads and guns of massed tank formations, strafed to ruin by relentless wings of gunships, or cut to pieces by coordinated space marine strikes. The hunger of the Great Devourer is not so easily denied. Like a wounded beast, the Tyranid swarms reacted as one, and lashed out with ferocious force. In the planet's last hours, what vital relics and personnel could be salvaged were extracted from Oghram at great cost in rearguard troops and escorting void ships.
Tyranids
They
won.
left behind a world that seethed with Tyranids in their billions.
$53-47. There you go.
Oghram was doomed. With its fall, the entire Formidire system, including the vital anchor world of Sanctum, was placed in greater peril than ever before. Reinforcements are coming, and there is a whole galaxy to fight for.
There you go.
So there we go. The results of the battle for Oghram are in. It is a Tyranid victory. So congratulations for all of you who are rooting for the Tyranids and who contributed and played your games, sent in your results. Thanks so much for all of you who joined in. Really cool to be able to be part of this kind of cool moment. And then you can see there we've got some kind of lore as well that kind of establishes that planet, which is in your Warhammer 40,000 rulebook.
Zowny2173, thank you very much for becoming a member. That is exceptionally kind of you. Thank you.
It's been consumed. So a few bits of details for you guys who are tuning in. A Tyranid victory, of course. We had over 44,000 results registered, which is really cool. early on in the campaign, it was very, very, very close, like incredibly close. The lead changed several times in the first week, and at several points there was like 1 or 2 votes in it, and it was.
Everyone was convinced that the Space Marines were going to win because it was rigged.
Ages and ages, and kept like swapping.
The
Space Marines edged ahead at the end of the first week, and I think at that point we put an update out into the world and said, "This is the results as it stand. Space Marines ever so slightly ahead."
Cool. I'll have a look in a bit.
That seemed to galvanise the Tyranids players and fan base perhaps, and then we started to see the results swing in slightly the other direction, and once that snowball started it didn't really stop, and the Tyranids came out on top. So final result, 53% to the Tyranids, 47% to the Space Marines. So there you go, guys.
I knew I should have submitted my results that I didn't
close.
make.
I remember asking for an update a little while ago, and you said that it was literally, I think it was 18 games in it, and given the thousands and thousands of games.
Here we go.
Any of our
Are you guys ready to see?
I think this is probably the
bunch of
closest one
Tyranids
we've
then?
had. Certainly early on. What quite often happens is that after about one day, it's
Just
very
turn them
apparent
down.
which way the wind is blowing, right? So we were like, it makes our lives much easier as well because we get to plan this event really far out and we know.
Has Valrak spent the entire week telling everybody that the Space Marines were going to get a bunch of kits?
So yeah, very, very close, very close.
Because his man on the inside definitely told him that was the way it was going to be, and it definitely doesn't have a man on the inside.
The first of them is that some of the people who entered will be. Will
Good afternoon, Maverick.
Prizes, which is cool.
50 points to Gryffindor.
Have been reached out to already, so keep an eye out on your inbox for that.
Well, it just goes to show, doesn't it?
Get to win some cool stuff for entering, which is cool. But what most people have tuned in for today is to have a look at the new miniatures for the winning faction. So
A Tyranid Lieutenant. A Primaris Tyranid Lieutenant.
We have a few videos to run through, quite a few new things on the way for Tyranids. So without further ado, let's have a look at the first film.
Oh. Here we go. Some DMCA music. I just need to talk over this. New Gene Stealers! At long last. It has happened.
So, some brand new Gene Stealers. So, very, very cool. Gene Stealers, obviously, an absolutely iconic part of Warhammer 40,000 lore.
Gene Stealers.
You know all about Gene Stealers. What are these guys about?
Yeah, so these guys, as you said, they've been around for ages. In fact, they were possibly one of the first things that...
Look at those boys. Those are pretty.
The High Fleet on Imgal, where they assumed...
Those are very pretty. I like those.
But then they featured on Tyran. They've basically featured in every High Fleet that's come along since.
It is about damn time.
The most,
They're very, 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 very nice. They're still not my favourite Gene Stealers. My favourite Gene Stealers were the ones that were in Space Hulk. The ones that were all like on, crawling out of floors and stuff like that. That was a really lovely set of Gene Stealers. But those are very nice. And they look like they might be on 32mm bases. Probably 28mm bases, but they look like 32mm bases, which is great. It means they won't all fall over all the time.
Imperial reasons, but quite possibly.
No more buying them at 8 at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 in a box. Looks like it.
Reimagined. These are really cool dynamic miniatures. It's a long time.
Oh, they'll work. They'll just replace or go into.
Obviously, you can use these in a few ways. You can absolutely put them straight into your Tyranid army as Gene Stealers. I'm quite sure that a lot of Gene Stealer cult players like myself will also be eyeing these.
They're talking about it now. You can put it into Gene Stealer cults. A couple of nice tactical rocks there. Yeah, just a couple.
Into a Gene Stealer cult.
That old kit was really painful. Yeah, it was. I painted 40 of them. 40 of them? If Klaas is watching, he'll tell me. There's something like 40 of them. Oh, that Hydra scream's lovely.
So you can see there in the top left the Imgal head with those little feeder tendrils. So that
that's lovely. That Kraken scheme on the right as well. That's really cool.
And I believe there is enough of those in the kit to make the entire set Imgal Gene Stealers.
So that's really cool. Yeah. So
oh, they've just said that there might be enough heads in there to make them all Imgal.
Do either want them to look
that's cool.
First contact
I'm into that.
From the moons of Imgal, or you've kind of lent into that kind of horrors from.
Yeah, I hope they're scaled appropriately with the Broodlord, because the Broodlord's probably not going to get a new model because it only had one not too long ago. As long as he's still bigger than these, like noticeably bigger, that's great.
Is this the proboscis that they can use.
60 of the old Gene Stealers from the 90s.
So
Good
that's the
lord,
thing,
you
is
are a
implanting
big fan.
the eggs into the unfortunate hosts. It's probably best not to think too much about exactly how that works and exactly what it means for the host. But yeah, unpleasant things happen.
This is what happens when the Ood get cross.
Within a meter or so.
That's it. You've
Doctor Who fans out there.
Or the, yeah,
They
so
grow 2 extra arms.
That is indeed the correct name. Yes. The place that eggs come from. So a few
He's
colours
an
on there
Ood.
as well. Obviously,
They have a hive mind.
Have their kind of normal
The Ood are the
very
precursors to
recognisable purple
Tyranids.
and blue palette, which is the one you can see top left there. That is the one they tend towards when they're left kind of out in Space Hulks and things by themselves.
Zoidberg.
Kind of ties in quite nicely to the Leviathan colour scheme. But you can also paint them.
Give us the old
in
fat
line
patriarch
with
blue Broodlord
the
from
height you've got,
Rogue
so
Trade.
you've got height
Yeah, that
you've
might
got
make an
on the
reappearance.
right. They look perfectly cool running around in carapace, bone and red, or whatever.
Paramite, is this Morbin time?
High fleet.
I love the dynamism of these. As you said,
It's Morbin time. Morbius 2, it's Morbin time in 40k universe. In the 41st millennium, there is only Morb. New Gene Stealers, I'm happy about that. Show me Hormagaunts.
These guys, and you can see there on the right that they're coming straight for you.
Yeah, I like the elongated arms they've got as well. So I think if you look at the length of the talons,
Need a
and the
tactical
length of the arms
deviled
compared
egg
to
on the
maybe
base.
some of the older
Yeah, I
Gene
don't
Stealers
like
we've
that
got,
in
they
the
seem more
Leviathan box. There's so
They've got
many of those little just
weird Tyranid
egg things on the ground. It's like, ugh, come on. It's never really clear how you paint them.
Absolutely horrible, terrifying monsters from space. But I'm absolutely going to get a bunch of them.
Let's just do them purple, I guess. That's
Right,
what I did.
so that's one unit. That was cool. It's
One
nice
unit.
To see some new Gene Stealers. That's
They are
one
powering
off the
through.
nostalgia list for Tyranids. I think there might be a few more things on the way. Let's have a look at the next unit.
Next unit. Hormagaunts! There we go. Yeah. Yeah. I'm prescient. And there's the Termagants with the other weapons. Yeah. This looks like it's a 2-part kit.
So, some new Gaunt options for your Tyranids. There is a new multi-part Hormagant unit, which is very cool. And you've got an expansion to the Termagant unit that we saw first in the Leviathan set. So if we have a look at the Hormagants first, so this is a kit that has been in plastic for a little while, but certainly has been showing its age a bit. Yes. So very cool to see a new, much more detailed,
Hormagaunts to me.
Very cool, very dynamic unit of Hormagants. They
I
are
was on the phone to
absolutely
Liam right now,
recognisably
just
the Hormagaunts
demanding
that you
these
kind of
new
imagine
models, I
in your
feel.
mind, but the level of
Liam,
detail on them,
give me your models.
the speed that
No,
they're
I'll be on the phone
displaying
to Games Workshop.
is just much cooler. Kind of a,
Is that a spike rifle? I think it was a spike rifle, yeah.
Development, I suppose, versus the last time we saw Hormagaunts.
So yeah, these guys,
They're sick. They look so cute.
Hormagaunts.
Hormagaunts. Like, look, this guy in the middle here. He looks like a very happy puppy. I like them because I like these. I like them better than Termagants because they're just bladed nightmares. Because like Termagants are carrying a gun, so I'm like, but with Hormagaunts it's just all weapon. There's no hands involved, which I like. I like it a lot.
To tie up enemy units, so they're pretty deadly if you're fighting against something like.
Did the Rippers stay the same? Yeah, those Rippers look like they're the same ones.
Or something, they can definitely chop up light enemy
in Leviathan.
The thing that they kind of excel at really is just
which is interesting.
Loads of them up into the middle of the enemy army, tying up.
They look like they can actually stay upright too. Yeah, well, I suspect they'll be on slightly bigger bases because like the Termagants are on 28s, as I recall. He'd bring you the paper, then shred it, and your face. Exactly.
Some more of those on the way. There's a nice closer look at some of those.
Now give us gargoyles. Yep.
Some of them in a very cool kind of jumping pose as well.
I like this one at the bottom. Here.
And a Ripper Swarm.
Bottom middle.
So,
that's a fun pose.
The Tyranid units come with a Ripper Swarm. So by the time you've kind of collected
the one in the middle to the right. I don't know if my mouse is coming up on the screen. Looks like he's having a dance.
An entire Ripper army.
I mean, you could do.
These are really cool.
I'm not sure.
With the blade bits in chrome.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure.
Interesting.
Why not? Go for it. You do your
that would be pretty.
So there you go. So Hormagaunts, very cool. We've also got some new
Termagants.
So Termagants, obviously, we've seen the first of those new Termagant miniatures in the Leviathan box.
These are the Devourers, right?
This kit has got a few extra things that the Leviathan set didn't have. So, Alex, do you want to talk us through what's new?
So, as we saw in the Leviathan kit, they've all got flesh borers. So that's basically like a little borer beetle.
Yeah, the flesh borer is the little one.
And then chews its way through the target. Whereas you get several different options in this one. You've got the classic spine fists.
A Cobra Kai reference. I've not heard that one in this chat before.
You've got the Devourers that you can see there on the vast majority of them.
Yes, I got it right. Devourers. I'm going to eat a cheese string.
At the end of that gun is basically just like rotting. And so when it fires those out, the little grubs start to burrow in. There's a lot of burrowing involved if it's not.
What's this contraption that this one in the middle is carrying?
It's probably something that's going to burrow into you.
That's a
You've also got, you can see there on the
interesting
left,
anatomically looking gun.
launcher. So it's basically the same kind of parasitic weapon that we've seen with the barb gaunts. You've got in the middle.
The Rippers are spiking the camera there. Yeah, they're making eye contact with the audience. Hey.
Next to it. I believe you've got one of these, but the old school version.
So some of these are really, really deep cut harks back to some of the very, very early Termagant miniatures.
I like
came
it.
out in metal in 2nd edition, I think it was. So I've got a very, very old Termagant at home with a spike rifle. And effectively, what these options do is they throw in some special weapon options effectively into your Termagants. So much in the same way that you might have a
it does look like the fart rifle from Despicable Me.
Squad with like a plasma gun in it, or a flamer or something. They give you a little bit of tactical flexibility to kind of throw in some other weird symbiote weapons. They just look kind of cool as well. So you've got a bit more option and flexibility in terms of what you want to do with that Termagant unit. Which, if you've been enjoying Tyranids for 20 plus years, also has like a nice little
phallic rifle.
I love the way the weapons are moulded. So the way the Tyranids tend to work is that the weapons are actually a separate life form.
Oh, Jurassic Lark, that sucks.
Main body of the Tyranid. And you can see here just the way it's basically like the flesh tubes come in and out of the guns.
Yeah, they're pretty grim.
It's just, obviously, we've improved the way we can make plastic and that kind of thing. You can get this level of definition into them. And it's just absolutely beautiful.
Well, as long as the instruction manual tells us exactly what they are.
Close up on them. The paint schemes on these is really nice as well. So you've got you can tell where the one creature starts and one creature stops, sort of thing. So that the heavy metal team obviously have done a wonderful job of capturing that. If you wanted to paint these much faster, you'd be well within your rights to just go, actually, you know what, everything that's chitin is one color, and the armor plates are a different color. So you could paint these up very quickly if you wanted to with contrast paints and things, or if you wanted to kind of take your time over them and really make them beautiful models, I think you absolutely could. I really like the spike rifle. I think it's just pure nostalgia for me. That's really cool. But the one top right, sorry, remind me of the name on that one.
That is the Strangleweb.
The Strangleweb. I love how the tube is coming out of him into the gun in a sort of really weird parasitic sort of way. So a lot
the
of
Strangleweb, top right.
It's not like a happy partnership, is it? It's kind of sucking the life force out of the host beast to power the.
I like them.
But then these
it's fun.
Are essentially dispensable.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
The only thing I worry about is
Termagants, when they were originally created, were kind of in the Tyranids.
They were like white blood cells, weren't they? They were like they're running through to kind of do the jobs and tasks of the circulatory system.
And it's really nice to see.
Well, at least if I get a box of these, I'll be able to do some more Hive Fleets. I think I was asked earlier about doing some Typhon. Maybe actually do a proper Tiamat. Why is that now gone weird?
Yeah. So when the hive ships are kind of in the void, it tends to be the Termagants that are the things that are awake, aren't they?
It's all blurry.
Kind of patrols that are running around the hive ship and doing the tasks and cleaning out any kind of body who's foolish enough to try and board a hive ship.
Is it because I disconnected this?
Some people might try it.
Are you really going to be annoyed?
The Deathwatch should probably give it a good go.
Yeah, they'll give it a go. Yeah,
and then you just swarm them with Termagants.
Absolutely. Right. That's very cool. I think we're a little bit ahead of schedule, but I think it's okay. We can probably jump ahead to the next one. So we've seen some new Gene Stealers. We've seen some new Gaunts.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm covered in web. Oh. Lictors. Here he is. I mean, we've already seen him. The Uwu rifle.
So, lictors obviously have been a big part of the Tyranid force pretty much since they've been with us in
Here
Warhammer
comes the
40,000.
lictor.
But it's not just one new lictor we've
No.
got for this new edition. Already, we've seen the
There
Von
we
Ryan
go.
Reapers, which we saw in the Leviathan box set and the starter set.
It's
for
cool.
40,000.
I like it. It's like a Von Ryan's Leaper, but bigger.
So, Alex, what are these guys about?
So the lictor is basically it's sort of the original Vanguard organism.
Mouthfuls of spaghetti in their mouth.
Skins, so they can blend in, hide, they can assassinate key targets, cause a bit of mayhem. But they can also, you can see there with the feeder tendrils.
That is a nice model. I like the clawed hands. I don't generally like hands on Tyranids. I don't feel like they should have them.
They're
But
equivalent of, say, assassins and scouts.
it's a very open miniature, that one. That'll be easy to paint, right? Because he's standing like, hello, here are all of my bits.
Scout well ahead, sort of in the same way that Gene's
That's the worry with something like a lictor, is it's all like prowly and crouched up and clinging on to something. And
a few lictors on your planet.
ooh,
Send that kind of call out, don't they, to the Hive fleet. So
that's a lovely one.
somehow infiltrate into the planet.
Look at that boy on the
There's
left.
lots of GCI
That looks
ammo,
hench.
Scout it out, not just calling the fleet in, but also kind of getting key intel, literally pulling information out of the minds of enemy commanders and things.
It'd be interesting to transport to games. Have you met Games Workshop miniatures? It's like a mutant Ood. This is when the Ood get really cross. But how will Tyranids tickle people caught in stranglewebs without hands? Good point. Good point. We caught you. You're going to be biomass.
Some options in the kit as well, which you can see there.
Lick to that like
first
button.
lictor we saw very kind of,
I like how they're revamping the models but sticking with the iconic Tyranid aesthetic. Yeah, I agree.
This one in the Behemoth
That one
is
looks mean.
much more kind of crouched, so this one looks like it's mid-stealth sort of thing. So you can imagine them
I mean, it does.
tucked
It
into
does look
shadow
like.
somewhere, or kind of
So if you want
bouncing on the
to,
edge of
you
the
could
building.
do like a. You could do a Metal Gear Solid
Slightly
conversion
bigger
with
than,
that. You could just
the
put a cardboard
Tyranid
box
Marines,
over
but
it.
standing taller than,
It does look a little bit like it's going on
even
tiptoes.
one lictor jumping onto a squad or something is usually enough to kind of take out a small infantry squad or threaten small.
To me, it looks like it's about to pounce rather than creeping. If it's creeping, then it's tippy-toeing around. And it's like, you are far too big for this.
Which means they can start kind of wherever they want to on the battlefield, but almost not anywhere, but quite a lot of
That'll be a really cool one to do like dioramas with, right? Because you can like put it in trees or something like that.
Lone operative, which means they're quite hard to pick out and target. They got stealth, which means they're harder to hit. They've got precision.
It looked like
on their weapons. So
it was a box of 3.
Fight an enemy unit, you could basically like pick out the commanders and eat those first, which is really cool. And then to go along with that, they've also got an ability that when you kill enemy characters, you gain.
So Contrast Plus guide for Udranids when?
you eating the brain
Whenever they come out.
and vital intel sort of thing. So all that
Whenever I get my hands on them.
always had is actually really well represented in the way that they play.
I mean, I've just come off a period of doing 40 videos in 40 days.
This guy, so this is
The Neurolictor?
So this is a brand new thing. We've never seen this guy before. It is a new variant on.
Ooh, it's weird. I
out
like
now
it, and I also hate it.
Neurolictors, yes, they're essentially.
Ooh.
And
This
they're
pink
developed
right here is
basically
gorgeous.
some terror and confusion. If anybody was on the
That's very, it's very interesting. So, firstly, it's a completely different purple to the rest of Leviathan.
And one of the things they like to do in lore is say you've got a battle line of troops, they'll
It's-
snipe them basically, referred to by the Imperials as the mark.
It looks wet
And basically,
in a good way.
a bunch of
Like,
guys on the battle line turn their weapons on their friends. They're panicked.
I like it.
What they've seen,
We don't know what that does.
Vanguard
Brand new
organisms,
miniature. Don't have the card for that.
Terror and confusion, and on the battlefield as well. You know, if you're playing them on the tabletop, they can force enemy units to take battle shock tests, and if they fail the battle shock tests,
Ghastly, yeah, absolutely. Just shoot it in the brain.
It crosses really nicely with some of the other abilities that you've got with Tyranids. That they do have a lot of kind of.
Remove the head or destroy the brain. Is that the line
if
from
you fail the battle
Shaun of the
shock
Dead?
test,
It's just the one lictor, actually.
making you take battle shock tests and having bonuses to hit or minuses.
Yeah, you could use that as a Slanesh Demon
This
Prince.
is basically
Absolutely, you
another
could.
unit that
You had to replace it with a bit of like more of a
it also fights pretty
human,
well, so it's
humanoid
still a lictor, so
torso.
it's still got your kind of
Depending on
precision
scale,
attacks,
obviously.
infiltrating in your fights first and and all that sort of thing.
Is he twisting to show off his
So
butt?
it's another,
No,
it's
someone's
very heavily
someone's
regulated.
taking a photo of him from behind, and he's turning back to the camera, like Scarlett Johansson did in all of her Avengers photos. It's like that.
Already pretty horrible combat tools that you've got. So there he is in a cool colour scheme.
The camera loves you, Neurolictor, darling. Loves you. Yes.
There you go. Yeah, but very
Give it
cool
to me.
model.
Give me more.
Model
No,
is
no.
some
Stop.
Kind of parasitic symbiote psychic thing.
The camera
The more
angle's
you
a bit
look at
weird.
Tyranid models, the more you find kind of weird psychic organisms.
Presenting its thigh.
parasites and
Check out
stuff
my
like
thigh.
There's loads of.
Dun 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 dun.
You could absolutely paint.
No,
them
no,
with
no.
some bits that are purple and some bits that
Hey,
are
what's that thing on the far right?
You can really spend your time and kind of paint
What's
all
this?
these weird little parasites and symbiotes and
What is that?
minor organisms in all sorts of different colours if you wanted.
What is that thing?
There's been a real expansion of
Do we know what that thing is?
organisms,
Yes.
with Leviathan's new
A lot of
kind
brain,
intrusion.
a lot of big glowing alien
Yes.
brain in the new Tyranids. Cool. So we've seen this model before. This
There's
is
Death Leaper.
So the reason we've brought him back is just to give you a piece of information about how the Tyranid army can work. So obviously we've got the Von Ryan's Leapers, we've got Lictors, we've got the Neurolictor, and if you wanted to as well, you've got the Imgal Gene Stealers, which you can give kind of lictory looking tentacle faces. One of the ways that you will be able to play the Tyranid army when the Codex releases is you can effectively make them a Vanguard force. And what that does is it gives you a bunch of bonuses to your Vanguard style organisms like Lictors and Death Leapers and Neurolictors, and you've got enough models now that actually you can kind of just have those if you want. If you just want a kind of mantis strikey weird army, you can absolutely do that. If you do that and you choose to take that kind of army, you can take Death Leaper as your general.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
Thanks, Resident.
So this guy basically is your Vanguard commander, I guess, and he wraps up all the rest of those Lictor-style genus species under his banner into
He's
probably
very
one of the
cool.
most horrific armies to fight against in the entire galaxy, and that's saying something because the galaxy is pretty
that's it.
awful.
So this guy, he's basically an advanced lictor.
Games Workshop
instead
pogging
of
off.
Just doing the kind of lictory stealth, hidey, chameleonic thing. This guy's all about terror. So
Yeah, that's why I turned
one
it
of
up,
the commanders has been
Paramount.
assassinated.
That sounded
You
like
know
that
it
was
a lictor.
important.
It may very well have been this guy.
So you can
He's
you
gonna
can
leave corpses
play a
everywhere. He's gonna
infiltration
devour heads.
detachment,
But as you
clearly.
say, there's a really nice balance between, say, having this chap leading your Vanguard organisms, killing things left and right.
Ghasty,
regular
thank you very,
lictors
very,
going
very much
around,
for becoming a
maybe,
member.
damaging lines.
Welcome.
Then at the same time, the Neurolictor coming in, and your commander, if he's not been killed yet, he's going to go crazy. And you can imagine that once your command structure's gone, how easy it's going to be for the rest of the Hive to come
320.
in, wipe out everybody.
100 more and we get
yeah,
the
very
magic
exciting
number.
stuff for
420,
for
baby,
Tyranid
let's
players. Some
go.
really interesting ways to
80
approach
more
that
and we
army
hit
too.
a
I think
target.
Also, I have a treat for
If you'd
painters
like to
as well.
become a member,
If you're gonna
please
go
do. You
for,
get access to the
kind of really
Discord,
lean into that kind of chameleonic style. There's lots of very interesting ways
where you can join a tale of
approach
many
the painting, so
Warhipsters
that'd be cool.
and get all
Right.
super excited.
We're not done yet. We've got some more things. So we've seen the line troops, we've seen the strike troops, we've seen the infiltrating troops. They are gonna need some fire support.
Yes.
They
So
posted a
let's have a look at
Biovore
our
on
next
Insta.
video.
This is probably what we're about to see now. Another Psycho Fate. I don't want it. There you go, Pyrovore. Burn them down.
So as I think Raf said before we started this stream, bug guns never tire, which I thought was a great line. So there you are. So these are the new artillery beasts for the Tyranids. They are both refreshes, really
150
significant
likes.
miniature
Let's
refreshes
go,
of
baby.
some classic units. So first off, we've got the Biovore. So Biovore has been part of the Tyranid
Why
army
did you say
since
burn
I
them
think,
down when it's a
second edition.
Biovore?
Changed a few times over the years in terms of its aesthetic. I remember a very early
I
one,
like
and then it
this.
kind of became a bit orky, and then it became a little bit
This
less orky.
orange here is
now it a very
lovely.
different kind of
It's
aesthetic,
great
one that
colour.
I think is very cool and kind of absolutely in
Spudenids.
keeping with the
It
idea
looks
of a,
massive.
Delivering artillery kind
Yeah,
of aspect of
it looks very
like a kind of
big.
heavy thing, doesn't it? That kind of
Yes.
beds in, sort of ticks into the ground and
That's it,
and
those
fires.
big claws you can see.
Is that like a
ramming into the
90?
ground.
No, it won't be a 90 mil. Come on.
Yeah. So what do we know about Biovores, Alex?
So the Biovore's big
80
living
mil,
artillery
maybe?
pieces, after anchoring themselves into the ground.
It looks
those
big.
long
It's got some weight to
spurs.
it.
As you can see there on the bottom right, those
Dual
are the
kit, I'm
skull
guessing.
lines.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you keep a bunch of them in that sort of egg sacky looking
Yeah,
bit
I
at
would
the back
guess.
of the gun, and then there's a massive muscle spasm as they fire them out, and then the spore mines drift across the battlefield.
And
they
new
don't
spore
land
mines.
and immediately explode.
Let's go.
They will drift along and then explode.
Yeah. So if we talk about the miniature for a little bit.
That's what everyone's
Start
really
with,
after:
so,
ripper swarms and spore mines.
This is
and
this is
mucilid
really different
spores.
looking, I think, from the previous Biovore.
Yes.
And
so it
the
has much more
giant
kind of,
drop pod
almost
thing.
crab-like insectoid aesthetic,
Yes,
doesn't it? Which
there's a almost
About to be building a house.
feel.
I'll fill it.
It's got almost like a cool
No.
shell to it.
You're going to be building a Tyranids army. You can live in an army of Tyranids.
It was
You won't be able to keep warm or power or have any
Yeah,
water or
it'll be
anything,
clumsy
but you
almost.
could
Yeah.
build enough
So
of them
obviously one of
to
the things
build
about
yourself some
Tyranids is that they
shelter.
evolve, they get better at whatever the form is that they need to take to do the job properly. They'll eventually kind of
Build a
reach it.
little house out
the
of
cannon on
their
the back looks
bases,
like it means business as well.
Oh,
Like, It is a
yes.
pretty scary looking gun.
like a tiled roof.
So in game terms,
It's
these
cool.
do a few things for you. So people who've been playing Tyranids for a long time will be kind of familiar with the concept.
Will we get a Space Marine?
Fundamentally, does a couple of things for you. The first thing it does
I don't know
is
if we
gives you
will.
some long range artillery support. Crucially, it can fire at stuff that it can't see, so that's really useful. It's got indirect fire. That's great for kind of catching little enemy units that are hiding in buildings and sitting on objectives, thinking they're quite happy. The other thing that it does, which is really useful, is that you can litter spore mines around the battlefield.
I think
and
it's
that's
to
great
create
because you can
some,
block off bits of the battlefield and do clever stuff with blocking enemy units. And
It's to
making them
create
have
some
take
visual
damage if they move
interest.
to certain places.
Not quite
And
sure why the
just
gun
mind
has to be
games,
a skin
basically.
colour, but
It
again,
does
it
more
is
for
once
you than if
another
it was just a big gun on the back of a bug. basically.
somewhat
So,
anatomically
very
interesting
cool.
gun.
So that's one way you can build a kit. This is a dual kit. You can also build it as a pyrovore. So this is looks sort of similar on the face of it, but has
That
a very
one's
different
worse.
role. Alex, what's a pyrovore?
So
do?
these guys get a little bit closer. These
I mean,
are
it's sick.
essentially pre-digestion beasts. So we've heard of all the feeder beasts that come along afterwards and they gobble up all the biomass. These guys basically get there first, spread the digestive juices.
That's really,
start
really cool.
melting Things down, get access
I
to
like
the
it.
juicy nutrients and stuff they're after. So when these
It's
guys
like when you
come
put
down-
vinegar on chips before you start.
It's just
and
very
yeah, so these guys are basically dripping with acid, and the big
It's
gun
very-
on top, instead of firing spore mines,
Yeah, it got worse.
fires out a burning chemical.
I swear I've seen that in an anime.
You can incinerate everything around it, and then after it's done that, come along.
I like that it's got like what
Nice,
seems
lovely.
to be like a
So,
scorpion, like a
in
flat
game terms,
scorpion.
This has almost the opposite role
sort of-
from
sort
the
of tail.
Biovore. The Biovore sits at
It's
the back of the
interesting.
battlefield, probably on your kind of backfield,
Ooh.
lobbing spore mines across the battlefield.
Yeah, you
If
said
you're
it, Carl.
opposite,
I'm not going to
scuttling
repeat it.
forward or
I don't want to
plodding
get.
in
I don't
with
want
a
to get.
Tyrannocyte or
Don't want to
something,
get DMC.
and then basically forming the part of your early assault. So this is softening up the enemy for either for eating or for assault phase or something like that.
Why is the
It
purple
also,
always a
in
different
game terms,
colour?
it's got an ability to kind of take away enemy
Where's
cover
the
saves. So you
consistency?
can imagine it's kind of literally burning through their cover. So if you're trying to hide behind a tree,
Trace
all of a
bad
sudden the tree is
dragon
covered in,
designs with these
weird
guns.
biological acid and is now just a little steaming puddle, and you're exposed to the firepower of the rest of the Tyranid forces.
One of my
It's an
favourite
interesting
things
boy,
about
that one.
this is, as it
Biovores and
is
pyrovores.
that because it's so stuffed full of these kind of like explosive gases.
So I reckon we've got
even if you don't
one
actually
more
kill it,
proper
it'll
video,
explode and kill you.
and then there'll be another.
It can also explode and kill your own troops. So
There's
you
one
need to be a
more
little
thing,
bit
but we
careful.
won't show you the whole
Exactly
thing
where you
yet.
put them. So if you've got,
What have we seen now?
squads of these running
Gene
around,
Stealers,
there is a
the full
danger zone,
Termagants,
so they can
the full
do a little bit of damage to, which is why you wanna try to break
Hormagaunts.
the enemy early
We've
on, so when they
seen
explode, it's the enemy that takes
3 different types of Lictor.
relatively expendable, I suppose. So you're probably dropping these in alongside some Tyranid warriors or
Death Leaper again.
Gene
Pyrovore,
Stealers,
Biovore,
so they
Biovore.
kind of support them, but close range fire.
So that's
support.
7.
That's it. Soften up the target.
Yeah.
1 or 2 more.
Very, very cool. Okay, so we've seen loads of stuff so far. We've seen new Gene Stealers, we've seen new Gaunts, we've seen loads of new Lictors.
I
we've
just
seen
did this,
fire
Eddie.
support.
You should have my
Um,
stream up.
Next up, the last of our Tyranid previews. We have the largest new miniature on its way for the Tyranids. Let's take a look at our
Here we come.
last model.
Hive Tyrant. Interesting. Or Carnifex. I don't know. Big thing. It's a lieutenant. Tyranid lieutenant. Hive lieutenant. Eliminates their elites.
So that was the Norn Emissary. This
Oh, there
is
you go.
a terrifying giant
Norn
new
Emissary.
synapse psychic monster. Does everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's huge new terror for the Tyranids. So Alex, what do we know about a Norn emissary?
Good
So
God.
when the Hive fleet wants something done and they want it done right, they're going to send one of these. So when we
That's
think
a
of
big boy.
synapse creature, we think of it like as a leader bug. It's going to be in charge of a part of the army, or it's going to be a monstrous creature that performs
That's quite
some
big.
sort of task as part of the army, but not these guys.
It's uncomfortably
These guys are
big.
created for a very specific purpose, and they're given essentially a level of individuality, so they can make decisions on the fly.
It's very
for
big.
them to complete their mission, which is something we don't really see with any of the Tyranids. They're not given any kind
Okay.
of self-control.
I'm sold.
Whereas the emissary
I like this.
is basically
I
given
like this a lot.
whatever leeway it needs to complete its task.
I like
the
this a
emissary in
lot.
particular
Okay,
tends to be
I'm in.
sent after enemy
I'm in.
commanders. They're sort of a supersized assassin.
I'm in.
And you can see from that brain that they've got some pretty potent psychic potential.
Tyranids might have just clicked a
So
little
if
bit
we can have
for
a look
me.
at the model to start with, this is a big kit. So like that is a hefty base. This guy stands taller than the Wraith Lord basically on the battlefield. So it's a big old monster standing taller than things like anything else that's plastic basically in your current Tyranid army. He's got loads of weaponry for kind of up close killing. So he's got this huge
say,
great size.
Eddie,
He's got his
a Wraith Lord
claws.
isn't exactly hard
He's
to
got
beat.
some pretty significant ranged psychic firepower as well. So when you're coming up against this guy, he's going to be blasting you with
Look
kind of
at it,
psychic
it's
bolts as well.
enormous.
As we've seen with some of the other kits for the Tyranids, there are loads of like really lovely, luscious little details all
It's
over
gigantic.
this, in terms of the way that what initially looks to be one creature is actually like a composite of loads of different symbiotes. So you look on the back there, and you've got weird little.
It's
I guess
nice.
they're kind of psychic booster brain
Yeah.
things.
But those could individually.
It's taller than Angron, is it?
another creature. So,
I mean,
you know,
they probably are.
Yeah, so
That would
you
be
just wanna make
insane.
it more and more.
That would be a fun
capable,
paint job.
Just keep adding brains.
Yeah, so maybe each one of those is like
Get your dry brushes ready.
a detail of the task or something like this one knows all the planetary codes for the
That's it.
world you're trying to go to, and this one has all we know about the Codex Astartes. So
There's a
some of those space
Toxicrene
routes
grafted
you
in
need
its
them,
back.
or
Is
something
there?
like that.
Oh yeah.
A very impressive centerpiece kit. So Tyranids have got loads of like big monster kits, and obviously one of the ways that you
it's
can play a
big.
Tyranid army is to kind of lean heavily.
Do you think
into
that's the
kind
same
of
size as Archaon?
Monster Mash
Oh no.
style.
No.
But this is so if you've got that kind of army,
No,
you can have
no.
one of these at the centre. of it, because it
Archaon
looks,
is on a
very
different
imposing,
level.
very cool. Towers over something like enemy captains and champions and things like that, and has the strength and psychic might to basically take on pretty much anything in the game. Like this is one of the kind of alpha units, I guess, of the Tyranid force.
I would guess it's probably
Right, so but this is a dual kit.
It is
maybe.
indeed.
So there's two things you can make. So the Norn Emissary is the first one, a kind of
Oh, it's a dual.
honed precision killer. The other unit you can make with this is the Norn Assimilator. So Alex, what's a Norn Assimilator?
So the Norn Assimilator is basically similar in task to the Emissary, whereby it's got a specific task, a specific target that it needs to take out.
Oh my
Rather
goodness.
than necessarily a commander, it might be an enemy monster or a vehicle or a fortification. So
It's much less subtle.
yes, so where the Emissary is almost akin to. a
I
sniper
literally was
taking
lost
out
for
a key
words for a
target.
minute there.
This
That's
is like a bulldozer to make sure that whatever gets hit gets crushed. And as you can see there's
That's
some
horrible.
pretty
In a good
tasty
way.
differences between the kits.
It's a
not
very
got
angry
the,
ant. Oh, yeah.
psychic brains, as it were.
He's got brawn.
Yes,
He's got
he does.
brawn.
And
It
you can see
looks like he's got brawn.
the two weapons on the bottom are his toxic
Goodness
injector
me.
harpoons. Now these pack an absolute
The-
punch. And they're gonna
The
go
face
through
is a bit
anything
funny,
they
like the
hit.
blade,
And
the
you can see he's got
twin-bladed
barbs on the chest
head.
as well, so if anybody tries to get away from him, he can strike
It's
him,
like
drag
it's
him
like
back.
if it's very
And
insectoid
then there's a
in
kind
the
of
right-hand
toxic feel to
picture,
this model
Yes.
as well. Aren't there? So on the base, obviously, you've got burning acid,
which I don't hate.
But those
That's
harpoons
very
there
interesting,
look
that one.
like
I
you
prefer
can
the
have primary
emissary.
poison and things. So
That's
while
cool,
you might send
though.
in the Norn Emissary to capture.
Dear Games
this
Workshop,
guy's not taken prisoner.
please
He's
can you
like
send me
skewering
both of these?
enemy units
'Cause
and
I
like
feel
ripping
like,
open bunkers and
as this is a
destroying
dual
everything
kit-
that's inside. So he's just an
There you
absolute
go.
like battering ram of death.
There you go.
So there you can see we talked about the scale of this guy. So that is a Wraith Lord. Wraith Lords are pretty big. They're about
big,
the same
yeah.
height as a Redemptor, I think.
Yeah,
in that kind of ballpark. So he's going to look about right, going toe to toe with like the kind of medium
Fire the
walkers.
harpoons.
Maybe
Fire
not
the
quite
Earth's
same height as something
claws.
like a knight, but actually the combat output on some of these isn't too far off that kind of ballpark. So you can
It's
start
big.
to you can
It's
threaten
very big.
pretty much anything in 40k. This guy.
But yeah, those
Hi,
are
Andy,
toxic
please can
harpoons.
you
As can
send me
imagine, as a
everything?
harpoon can be
I want all
fired
of
out
it.
at range,
Thank you.
But simultaneously,
10 videos.
you can
Off we
also
go.
use them in
There we go.
combat, and they're, you know, if anything, they're even worse. But one of the big things with both of these kits is that they have a single purpose. So whilst other, Tyranids might be like, take the
It
planet,
looks lovely
the
in
things,
Kraken.
These guys have been told, I just want that commander
Oh, I
dead,
kind of wish
I
I'd done
want
Kraken.
that vehicle dead, and they'll send them after it. And as part of that,
I'm glad I didn't, but I wish I had.
to do so. So when they are attacking their target, they'll get some rerolls.
Because I now have a purple army.
Or if they are specifically after an objective, they'll get a bit of a bonus.
So we guessed
So
it all.
they've got some play in.
We
game.
didn't guess the
So
Neuro
you can either go, there is an
Lictor,
enemy unit that I just absolutely want
or
to kill.
this
I know
one,
that if I kill
but-
that unit, that the game is going to go favourably.
Yeah,
to me.
pretty much. And
you
also
can
thank
go,
you very
this
much,
model
Liam,
is
for
to
the
kill that
5. It's
unit.
very kind
Or
of you.
you can go, this is the
Hope you're
objective
enjoying
the
your
game's gonna
weekend.
pivot around. I'm going to go for that objective, in which case you get bonuses to this unit's ability.
The emissaries
That's
kind
it.
of looks more
As you said, I
lethal.
think,
This one looks more
even though he's maybe not quite got the height or the bulk of a knight,
imposing.
given his special rules, if he wants to target a knight, I don't think he's going to last long.
He should be just like looking
Okay,
down
so
a
that
little
is,
bit.
I think sometimes you see new units added to Warhammer 40,000. You're like, that is going to be one of the things to watch.
Yes.
And if you're
It
going to
is
go
very
Tyranids, you're going to
big.
be like, how can I find a place for this lovely gentleman in my force? And if you're going to go up against Tyranids, you're going to have to work out how you deal with a model like that. So that is our roundup for the Tyranids. So loads of great new miniatures on show there. We had new Gene Stealers, new Gaunts, new Lictors, new Living Artillery, and new Norn Emissaries. which is very
Joe's
cool.
in the
So
car
loads
at
of
the
them
moment.
on the way.
Did you have a particular favourite?
Did I have a?
He's I think he's missed all of it.
It's all cool.
So he'll be arriving home, and then he'll be like,
I
what?
I think the Neurolictor. It's torn between the Assimilator and the Neurolictor, but there's just something about it. It's that kind of
That was cool.
insidious creature
It's
that
cool.
gets behind the lines.
I'm just gonna hold fire about leaving because they might show up another video previewing a Space Marine or something.
Psychic might behind it.
Cool. Right, so all of those new Tyranid miniatures are on the way later this year. They all come out alongside the new Codex Tyranids, which we can confirm is the first Codex of the new edition. So if you've got a Tyranid force,
Codex Tyranids is first.
paint up your Leviathan army, have fun with that. Plenty more reinforcements on the way. Space Marine players, I know we didn't get to see any new Space Marines today.
Liam,
You can't win them all. Literally can't win them all. But there's plenty new Space Marine miniatures on the way in the not too
Liam
distant
slapping
future,
out the 10
we'll
gifted.
still get to see all of those. They're still getting released. You just don't.
Thank you very much, Liam.
Um,
That's very kind of you.
A big thank you for all of you who joined in. A special big thank you if you took part in the Battle for Oghram campaign. It's been really, really fun. I'd like to say thank you for Alex for
Thank you
joining
for
us.
having me.
A big thank you to Nick for making sure all the tech worked, and a thank you for Notley in the chat for keeping you all honest. A reminder, if you are thinking of starting either a Tyranid or a Space Marine army,
We
a
should
couple
do
of
it
great boxes
instead,
out
Liam.
there that you can do it with.
But then I think
There
we
is
would
the
just be
Leviathan
like-
box, which you will still be able to find in a few places.
Yep.
It is sold
I
out
would be
online, but there are a few
squealing.
stores dotted around that still have a few copies. So get in touch with your local Warhammer store or your local.
Should we do the
retailer,
next
see if
preview
they still got
together?
Copies. That box is a brilliant place to start either a Tyranid or a Space Marine force. Equally, if you want something a little bit smaller, there are
No
some
Marines this time.
new starter sets that are on pre-order today from GamesWorkshop.com and also from local retailers. So have a look out for that too. There's a range of different great box sets. to start with.
Tomorrow we reveal the new Codex Tyranids FAQ and
With
errata.
that, thank you all again for coming, and we will roll through a last video wrapping up all of the great reveals we've had today. Thank you so
Our
much.
last video.
One world is consumed, but many more await, full of biomass for the taking.
Here we go. Fireball and Pyroball. More emissary. And then forget to put the last one on there. Come on now. I've immediately forgotten what it was called. Devour the galaxy. Nah. Haven't got a big enough appetite to eat a whole galaxy. Good lord. Well, there you go. There you go, team. What do you think? Happy? Sad? Tyranids won. So that says that. Norn Assimilator, there you go. I'm just going to head over to the Warhammer community. There we go. Stealthy Lictors. Yeah, it does surprise me that there wasn't just one cheeky Space Marine snuck in there at the end. But interesting that Tyranids are going to be the first codex and then Space Marines the second. You would normally expect that to be the other way around, because Space Marines obviously just the most popular faction in the entirety of the game. The Norn Emissary is legit. It's enormous. They've not quite put the article up yet. I want to see all news. There we go. Nope, still not quite there. All news. Nope, still not quite there. I'm happy that the Space Marines lost. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think the Tyranids are always going to be a more impressive reveal, especially when you've got something like the Norn Emissary there, right, and the Assimilator and stuff like that. I was going to do Marines for Tale of Many Warhipsters. Now maybe the Nids. Birmagant, Smirmagant. I'm expecting lots of Space Marines. I'm expecting lots of Tyranids for the Tale of Many Warhipsters. I'm expecting both. Because, you know, we're just about to get huge new model ranges for both, presumably. They might just be like, Space Marines are getting a new chaplain. You've already got enough data sheets. You don't need any more. Good luck. GG's. Have fun. Interesting. Is there anything missing now? Is there anything that's still in Finecast? I guess like Old One Eye, the Red Death. Is that what it was called? Carnifexes, sadly, didn't get a new multi-part plastic kit that we know of. I think there was a new Tyranid flyer in the background on the MSA. Well, maybe. The new Primaris Gene Stealers. Belisarius Call has made some Gene Stealers. Why? He's got to keep the Primaris honest. It's good stuff. I like it. Red Terror, that's the one. Not the Red Death. Come on now. I don't know my Tyranids as well as I should. 168 likes on the stream. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Can we get to 170? Like the stream. Like the stream. Next person to like the stream gets to choose the music. As long as it's not. I'll just put this on. Impossible to prove. I reckon you'll see all of that stuff either in August or September, because July is usually in these things. So like when Dominion came out or whatever, so a couple of years ago, and when Dark Imperium and Indomitus likewise, and Soul Wars, usually the month after is kind of devoted to all the other games that they make. So like you won't see Codex 1 and 2 in July, and you sometimes see one at the end of August, but more often than not it's September, just as kids are going back to school, because you don't want them to do their homework, you want them to paint miniatures. Needs a black metal playlist. What's the most black metal thing I've got on here? Let's see. Music. We want... Oh, they've changed it. Boo. Genres. Metal. Let's go for high beats per minute. This maybe. There you go. Again, yeah, no, I think you're right. They look functional. They're cool. I think it was all. I think it was a really fun reveal, that one. I am glad that they kind of stuck to their guns. I'm surprised that there wasn't a. I'm surprised that there wasn't a cheeky Space Marine thrown in there for good measure. But it is what it is. I wonder if the live thing is working yet. Nope, of course it's not. YouTube's been having a funny one the last couple of days. They're cross at me for no longer releasing videos every day. For one day. I took one day off. Didn't have a video yesterday for the first time in over a month. And now YouTube Studios just being like, meh. Nah, bro. Not for you. Well, that was fun. Did you guys enjoy that? Do you guys enjoy these watch-along previews? I like them. It's fun to watch it with you. It is 3 o'clock. We've been streaming for 2 hours. So we're probably going to run off now for a little bit. Unless anybody has any final thoughts. Or anyone wants to slap 70 gifted members in the chat. You know, just saying. If you guys like these, and also like a Saturday day stream, do you guys like this? Like weekend streaming, day streaming? Is that good stuff? Like if I did some hobby streams at this time, would that be helpful? I'm not saying like it would be every weekend, because, you know, weekends are weekends, but the daytime streams, they can be quite fun. We can all paint something together. A Tale of Many Warhipsters, for those of you who don't know, is back. And if you don't know what Tale of Many Warhipsters is, there is a live stream that you can go and watch from Wednesday. It's here on the channel. Tale of Many Warhipsters is a community-led project to get models painted, where we all get together and we look at each other's miniatures and go, ooh. This is the same song again, with vocals. We don't want that. Come on now. Let's just have something different. There we go. But yeah, doing like the occasional daytime hobby stream, if that's something that you guys would be into, I'd be very much into it. I think Alice would probably join in as well. Captain Mannering's coming in with the one gifted. Thank you very much. Whoop. That's interesting. Press 2 keys on this keyboard and it doesn't work. And we're on 193 likes. Guys, we're 7 away from 200. I will not leave until we reach 200. You can't make me. Yeah, no, I'm enjoying streaming at the moment. It's good fun. It's good stuff. Being with all of you is always a privilege. Hanging out with all of you is always really fun. You're the best community in the world. Here we go. Oh my goodness me. Dark Flame 97 gifting 1 Warhipster membership. Thank you very much. And Mr. Feudal gifting the 5. There we go. It's happening, baby. It's all 400 is no longer just a glint in my eye. Because I like doing the hobby stuff on the lives. I like painting with you guys. It's good fun. So this one's more of a talking head stuff. And if you like the talking heads, we can do more of that kind of thing. But like I said, I was going to do some of this, but we just haven't had the time. I am filming this, as I've already mentioned, for those of you who don't know. So there will be a video on how to do this. Yeah, if you really want to stick it to me because it was terrible timeout, just hit the dislike button. And if you're out there, the person who dislikes every single one of my videos, thank you, sir. Or madam. I appreciate it. There's one person makes it their mission. So, like, I think they do it, like, every sort of, like, Sunday evening. They must have, like, a schedule. Because, like, I'll upload videos during the week. And it'll be, like, 0 dislikes. And then on Sunday, round about 6, 7 o'clock, it just goes 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And I enjoy it because it's like that person really knows how to, because I see it. They really know how to get in my head. It does make me laugh. Mr. Feudal 204 likes success. There we go. You can now kick me off. Kick me out the stream. I'll leave now. I'll go quietly. 63 more to 400. Yeah, exactly. The Casio went beep, 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 beep. Time to dislike. Time to dislike. Time to dislike. Exactly. I live rent-free in someone's head. It's nice. It's nice to know that I'm thought about. Oh, is it you, is it, Liam? With one hand he giveth, with the other he taketh away. No, I like it. Sometimes when I see one that hasn't got a dislike on it, I go in there and just do it just to keep it nice and consistent. Because, you know, you wouldn't want that one video to feel left out. Rent-free in this economy. In this economy. It's just the one dislike, actually. It comes with the territory of having all your subscribers, though, Mr. Feudal. Because then you have people who are just like, I must break him. But I must subscribe to him to know when the videos come out. Yeah. It's one of the things that's always funny, though, is it's like, because it doesn't really matter, it still counts as engagement. So even if you dislike a video, it's still good for the video. Exactly. Exactly. I'd like to meet the person who does it, because I would be like, you do me a great service. Should I start making it too? Oh, is it you as well, Rich? Do you want to have a go as well? This is where I'm talking about this, and my next video is going to go up, and everybody here, all 150 of you, are just going to be like, oh yeah, cool, he wanted more dislikes. Video just goes... That would break my heart. Please don't do that. I have a fragile ego. I'm a YouTuber. Come on now. Oh, man. Oh, good golly gosh. We have such good fun, don't we? I love it. I love being with all of you. Liam, dropping another gifted. I'm going to have to write Liam's name on my skin at some point. That's what they do on Twitch, right? That's like a thing. Gift now to be on my body. Liam. That's the way forward. He's doing it again. You're being exceptionally generous today, Liam. What are you doing? It's very kind of you. Thank you. I mean, don't stop on my account, unless you're doing this so that I write your name on my body. I'll have to do that for the next stream. That's how it works, I believe. It's a very strange thing. I bought one of the OG metal old one-eye models. Ooh, pretty. I'm genuinely surprised we didn't get a Carnifex of some description. Is Carnifex a plastic kit? Carnifex Brood. Oh yeah, it is a plastic kit. It's just a bit old and tired, you know. Liam, you had to make it an even number. Well, thank you. There we go, 340. Plops of corn, you wanted to know about the AO Series D. They're really good, so easy to use, and the dampening pad helps get the right amount of moisture on the brush. Lovely. I really ought to buy some. Or find some dry brushes that are similar from other brands. Just, you know, expand my horizons, as it were. Thank you very much for the 5 plops of corn. And thicker wheat, you inspired me to paint with your Gorgon guide. I hope you do more, please. We might be able to do some more Gorgon. There's a bunch of new Tyranids. I don't know if you know. There's a bunch of new Tyranids coming. So, you know, maybe we'll do some more Gorgon with that. It's always a bit of a risk, though, because you end up like being like, oh, I don't have a pictorial reference. And I know that if I do like a Gorgon Norn emissary, someone somewhere will tell me I did it wrong. I'm like, but there's no pictorial reference, so now mine is the reference. But thank you very much for the 10 there. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Ashdown Gaming do some that are basically identical. I've got a growing retro collection stuff I couldn't buy when I was a kid. Second edition Hive Tyrant, Zone 3 of the old Screamer Killers, a Rogue Trader Broodlord. The one I want from when I was a kid, and we will leave in just a minute. We'll leave in 5 minutes. 3:15 feels like a good time to end. I wanted the old Inquisitorial Stormtroopers. Remember the old, like, sort of black uniforms, berets? I had some, and I don't know where they are. They're gone forever. Pedro Cantor when? Do you know, Jack? Very recently, there was a made-to-order. And in that made-to-order, there was the option to buy Captain Tycho, the Primaris Champion, and Pedro Cantor. And I bought Pedro Cantor. I'm waiting for him to be delivered. And it's one of those made-to-order things, so it could arrive this week, it could arrive in January. But Pedro Cantor is on the way. So yeah, you will get a video. Just in time for the new multi-part plastic reimagining of him, I suspect. Because I always fall into that trap around about Christmas. They'll be like, a new Space Marine character's coming. Oh, I wonder who it could be. Probably Pedro. Because it's not going to be Tycho, because he's dead. He's very dead. Yeah, see, I did a Lysander, and he has been gifted to a friend of mine who is starting an Imperial Fists army. So he's no longer in this cabinet. He's gone. I need to put my Blood Angels back in here, actually. They're downstairs. That's something I'm going to do after this. Sorry, you didn't need to know that. Just thinking out loud. Yeah, no, it's one of those things. I wish we had seen a couple of Space Marine things today, but I'm also glad that we didn't. So I guess we'll get a preview for them next month, maybe? Maybe? Introducing the new dead Tycho 40mm objective marker. I mean, the man's been dragged out in every codex. I mean, the fact that he got an index card again genuinely surprised me. Tycho and Tycho the Lost. Just very confusing as to why somebody who died on Armageddon. He died on Armageddon. Is still around. Still in the codex. I don't get it. It's very odd. Especially when some things just like are gone. Commissar Yarrick. He survived Armageddon. He's gone. Tycho didn't. You can still use him though. Doesn't make any sense. It's very odd. What would be really funny is if they did a Primaris Tycho. It would make me laugh a lot. It would be very entertaining at least. Doesn't need to happen. Possibly will. Exactly. Where's the Yarrick datasheet? It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. But, you know, there you go. Can't have everything, can you? Right. Thank you very much for hanging out with me this afternoon. I will see you all on Wednesday for another live stream where we will be doing something. Painting, probably. Maybe we'll paint some Kroot. We'll figure out how to paint them. That would be fun. Because I have no idea how I'm going to do them. Probably with Gut Ripper Flesh. Because it's the best green ever. And I've just used it on the Rabble Rouser, the Harbinger of Decay, and the Marrow Scroll Herald. Do you think Yarrick and Old One Eye would hang out? Yeah, probably. Swap stories about the eyes that they lost. But, I remember when I had my eye. It's just the one eye, actually. Just the old one eye, actually. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you all very, very soon on Wednesday. We might have a painting video come out tonight. We might not. I might have the afternoon to myself. But there will definitely be more painting videos very, very soon. Anyway, catch you all later. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Love you all. Bye-bye. Bye for now. Bye. Bye. Bye.